Hey guys, so I'm back after a little while of not recording. I got a little bit to explain as far as that goes, but I'm here with an update for the 1994 Toyota Camry Wagon. So let's go ahead and just get this thing pulled out of the tent. Today we're going to be discussing the fate of this car, what's going to be going on with it, and see what's going on. I have too much stuff in this tent, that's for sure. This is not an old start. I just had this thing running earlier. I've been trying to keep the battery charged on this thing, so just been running it. So let's get that key out. Let's get this thing out of the tent. There we go. Now those brakes are not happy. I should probably drive this thing around the yard and clean up those brakes. But let me go ahead and roll down that window. So, nasty old thing. What are we gonna do with you? I think I'm gonna end up putting this back on the road, guys. Here's a few reasons why, and I've already kind of explained this in the past few videos. Number one, it gets good gas mileage. That's basically one of the only... If this thing got worse gas mileage, this would be the 2021 Demolition Derby car. So it gets decent gas mileage. It's because it's a 4-cylinder, and it's a good motor as well. Good transmission, good motor. The only thing wrong with it really is that differential output bearing, and getting that replaced is going to be a bear, no doubt. It's going to be quite the job, but you know, I think it's worth putting some money into this thing. It's still worth putting something into it because it's still solid enough to the point where it's still drivable, and it's still good enough to the point where, you know, it's not really worth derbying yet. This may be a 2022 or a 2023. I doubt a 2023. Probably 2022, probably next year. Derby car. I don't know. We'll see. It just depends on how it treats me and how many things break on it, stuff like that. If the motor goes, then, well, at this point, I'd still replace the motor in it. If the motor blew up right now as I'm talking, I would replace the motor in it. Because of the fact that it is clean enough to the point where it's worth putting that type of stuff into it. It's cleaner than any other derby car I've ever had. And really, it's cleaner than some of the dailies we have, like my truck. This thing's cleaner than my truck is. So, you see, AC pump actually is relatively new on this thing. It's actually, I didn't even look at that too well, but it actually does look pretty new under this engine compartment. I mean, there's just so many newer parts on this thing that there's not much else you could do to this thing to make it good. They got a newer radiator in it. I mean, there's just a bunch of new parts. Battery's pretty new. It's a value power, boys, but it still works. And if you let it sit too long, obviously it dies. But you know, that's with any battery. So, yeah, there's really not enough wrong for me. And also, I have to add, the air conditioning and the heat work flawlessly. Flawlessly. It is absolutely wonderful driving this thing in the winter or the summer, because the air conditioning works. It's ice cold, you know. Half the cars, I mean, it's a lot more important in the south, but up here, some cars just don't have working air conditioning, and that's just, some people just don't care, and I'm one of those guys who cares. I do like air conditioning, and especially with the black car, it'll get really hot in here on those hot days. And also, what's nice is that this has cloth interior So you don't, when you sit down, it's not going to be like 110 degrees. It's probably going to be colder than what the actual air temperature of the car is. I mean, that's just the positive having cloth seats. There really isn't a whole lot of negatives to having cloth seats. So, no, it's, and also the luggage room. I mean, I could go on and on about the positives of this thing, and there really aren't too many negatives. It's, well, one, it's not at all pretty. I mean, this thing is ugly as hell. Don't get me wrong, this thing is ugly. Ugly, ugly. But, you know what? Who really cares? Seriously. This is a Survivor that just keeps on going. And it will keep on going even after I replace the output bearing shaft, so, or output bearing. So, there you guys go. There's the fate of the Camry wagon. It will live on to see the road again. I know some of you are going to be disappointed because you really wanted me to derby this thing, but you know, sometimes you just got to say, what is my situation, and say, does it make more sense with me going to college in the fall here? It's going to make more sense for me to get better gas mileage and have a sedan rather than a truck, or a wagon I should say, rather than a truck that gets 16 miles to the gallon, which I'm currently getting in my truck. I have to fill that truck every 2 weeks, not even, with my commute to my job. Yes, I will talk about that in just a minute. That's what's been taking up a lot of my time, is my job, and also other things. So that's pretty much that. I mean, it just makes more sense just to keep this on the road and take the truck back off later this summer and sell it, and you know, move on to bigger, better things. You know, well, not this, but I mean, as far as college goes and stuff like that. So. And the future for this channel, I couldn't tell you what's going to happen. I really couldn't. I don't know what my living situation's going to be. If I have a driveway and I have, you know, a place to work, then I will expect to have videos. Well, expect to have videos out of me doing work to vehicles, and probably not derby cars, but probably other cars, and or this car. And yeah, it's gonna get real slow. That's all I gotta say. The channel might even die. Who knows? But you know, I'll keep it going even after, hopefully. So that's another video. That's another video for another time. But the derby aspect of this channel will probably never end. I think that it is my lifetime love is demolition derby, honestly. But you know, that's not a career choice. So can't really go on that. It is a career choice depending on how much work you're willing to put into. You actually have to run the demolition derbies and stuff like that too, and hope that you make enough money, because a lot of businesses like that fail. But that's totally beside the point. You can tell I haven't recorded in a while because I just keep on rambling. Anyway, the fate of the Camry, it's going to be on the road again. My job's been taking up a lot of my time, and hopefully I'll have more time pretty soon. And I'll explain more of that later as well. So save that for another video. So this is the fate of the Camry. It's gonna live. So there you guys have it. I know some of you wanted it to live and some of you wanted it to die, and you know what? It's gonna live. So there you go. And don't worry, there will be demolition derby cars this summer. I can almost say that I will be doing at least one. So my plan, my goal is to get 2 in this year, to get as much content out for you guys as possible. I may even record content and save it, so when I'm at college that I'm able to release content of that earlier time. So, you know, that's always a possibility. So see you guys in the next video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye, everybody.